So actually, I'm Nandini Lal. Currently, I am associate professor in Pearl Academy Fashion School. So the main purpose of my study was the to find out the ethics and values of green fashion, which are more feasible in Indian fashion systems. And then my purpose was to educate our students. So I did two kind of research activity. One was with market research about the existing sustainable fashion business, which can help me to understand what are the more feasible concepts in Indian scenario. And then second activity I did, that I inquired with my educators and also the industry practitioner about the young designer, that whether they see that they are gaining these ideas or learning about sustainable fashion or not, whether they are implementing it in their day-to-day scenario or not. So that was the bigger picture. And I would like to give little introduction about this topic, that when I was trying to read more and more about sustainability in different sector, and especially in sustainable fashion also, I got I read that many researchers have given various parameters for that how we should define sustainability. And then definition by Kolosky et al. And the team was very much interviewing for me, and they are suggesting that social we when we are looking at some sustainable system, we must check that it is environment friendly, economic, aesthetically pleasing, and it is also very very responsible for social and cultural reforms too. So this, I felt that this is more totality, and one should look at any system with all these aspects, and not just environment or not just with economy, but social and cultural is also should be a part of this study. So, and then my research idea got more strength when I read about the statement given by Middleton, JD, and the team, that the new research ethics is necessary, in which scholar, practitioner, and policy maker should collaborate to examine relationship among phenomena, institute, and also the consumer. So I thought this is the main thing, and I should also go about it. I should find out what educators is doing, what industry feels about this topic, and how policymakers should also include these in their guidelines or directions. So for that, I was reading more, and then I wanted to know more about Indian scenario. And there I studied that India is responsible for 26% of global cotton, and it is one of the largest producer for silk and man-made fiber, second to China. So, and these things making India's scenario very very important, because India is also exporting garment, and the export quantum is also really big. You know, last year, this year actually, India has exported 44.4 billion of textile and apparel. So in a way, whatever is practiced here is affecting the whole world. So then when I was reading, we have a very big industry segment, but at the same time, our handloom and crafts have not died yet. You know, still many of the craft clusters are actively working and commercially doing day-to-day business. And there I read about more about handloom, that researchers are trying to promote it, because it has very cultural association. At the same time, it is providing living to various artisans. So if we can very well balance this whole system and combine fair trade principle with this, it can be one of the very important environment friendly fashion industry. So khadi in India is actually, the term was coined by Mahatma Gandhi. And here hand spinning and hand weaving is practiced, and then we call this product khadi. And actually it's a very very decentralized system. These class cluster are situated all over India, and it can give a very well parallel system to the current industrial method, which are very much centralized. It has various norms which are like very much pollution creating system. So maybe khadi could be promoting craft, and khadi could be one of the possibilities. So these are the studies done by Bhalla and K Kumar, and I really saw that they have done a very detailed study. They have studied life cycle of khadi product, and not right starting from raw material, because in cast khadi or handloom product especially uses localized cotton, desi cotton, which are very less consumption of water, and hand spinning and handloom has very low energy consumption also. So when they studied all this in detail and they compared with mill made product, so total energy consumption was near half to the mill-made product. So khadi woven fabrics have 97.6 megajoules kg as against 170 megajoules kgs of mill-woven cotton fabric. So that makes it a very big point that one can use this as a supplement of that. So with, with all this background study, I for this research I decided that to create green ethics guidelines, I must find out from the industry and also from the educators that what could be the more popular methods which we should teach to our students. So the objective of my study was to collate the ethics and values of green fashion feasible in Indian fashion system, and another was understand the gap in current fashion education for better inclusion of sustainable concepts. And for that, one was that I studied some 50 organization who are doing sustainable fashion business, and I contacted some 45 educators and 75 industry practitioners for my questionnaire based survey. So two kind of studies was done. And when I was studying that various organization, I followed the formula what Ninimaki has used, and she has done she studied the process of making fashion product in four parts. So first she was inquiring more for sourcing and the material used in the fashion product, then second production methods, and third production lifespan where the products are getting used, and then at the last end consumer preferences. So in a way actually sustainable fashion concepts can be implemented or should be implemented at all the four phases and not just one. So I thought that it will be more wholesome approach. And with that, when I was inquiring about with different organization, I found that there are various formats of business. There are some businesses which are very really big in size and big mill sectors. So these are the few names like aloe vera brand launched by Raymonds and Reliance. Adyam is launched by Aditya Birla. These are the four big fashion and textile businesses, and they have started new segment which are more sustainable and environment friendly. So that's a new change which we have seen in last 2 years, that our big fashion giants have also started new segments which are more which is like dedicated to sustainable business. Other than that, there are many NGOs like Seva, Upasna, Tula, Kasau, Khamid, Gunj, Conserve India. There are various small NGOs who are also promoting sustainable fabrics or sustainable fashion products and selling these in society. Then there are various design houses, other than this commercial business of big designers. They have some of them have started focused sustainable collection also. So one is like Grassroot by Anita Dogre. She is one of our very famous Indian designer, and she has started a new line and it's called Grassroot. Similarly, Soham Dave, Pero, Doodle's Bodies, these are the new design studios which are only doing sustainable fashion. Some more names are Rusty Hughes, No Nasty. So I could easily find some 50 fashion businesses who are doing it. We have many more, but then these were the ones I could study in my limited time. And then there are various online retails who are only selling sustainable product. Flourish, Aikiki, Brown Living, and Bandhej are some of the platforms where I could see various brands enrolled and selling sustainable product. So when I was studying about, so I did, and I studied all aspects of their business, like starting from raw material, how they are making their textile and processing their textile, how how they are using local raw materials, the wages which has been paid to the uh, artisans or karigars, and then similarly all aspects of their business has been studied here. And then I could conclude it that 37 out of 50 are using handloom fabric. So that's a very big indication that Indian businesses as well as consumers are accepting handloom fabric as a sustainable item. And then more than 25 organizations are working for livelihood generation. So they have combined their business, and the main purpose of the business is livelihood generation, where they are giving work to artisans who are at far places, not in urban cities as a laborer to these factories, but they are working at their home. So livelihood generation is their main focus. And then 20 plus are working for slow fashion, seasonless fashion. I just I've put in this photograph made by one of my student, and she made these rectangular pieces on handloom, and then they did hand knotting, so no cutting or sewing was happening in this garment. So this kind of new upcoming designers are there who are coming up with very interesting ideas to present their sustainable collection. Similarly, 15 of them were using this fair wages system, and they have given all the breakups, that what are the payments to artisan, what are the payments to textile person, on all the breakup for this full final price of the product. And then many of them are using natural dyes. So natural dyeing is again a very big thing here in India, and many organizations are using natural dyes in their fashion product. Then many websites and people, especially who are selling online, are showing transparent supply chain. They have given the source, who are the suppliers, who are the maker of the garments. So who made your clothes, that kind of slogan actually affected many organizations, and they have started showing that all the supply chain, how product is being made, or how product is being selling in this scenario. Then 12 companies are using, out of my this 50 which I studied, 12 companies are using recycling and upcycling methods. 10 are using so stencil. So these fibers, some people have more focus on fiber, where they are using sustainable fiber. This stencil where they had sourced was a branded one, and they were using that purifying water techniques and low energy consumption. Those kind of methods were used to create this fiber. Then hemp, banana fiber, special desi cotton. Kala cotton is one of our desi cotton. So these are the also preferred fiber because they use less water and less energy. Pesticides are used while producing these fiber. Then 7 out of 50 is using zero waste pattern cutting. So I think that these strategies can be promoted more, and our students should be encouraged more to use these kind of strategy to in their business, so that it can have less energy consumption and less carbon footprint. So yes, this is a very strong trend in India, that synthetic fibers are not considered as sustainable product. Only two of these industries were using sustainable synthetic fiber, and that too because these were special synthetic fiber made with recycling PET bottle, and Econyle was again a regenerated nylon. So wherever we saw that industries are using synthetic or combination of synthetic plus cellulose, then they are not claiming that they are sustainable. So it's a big trend here in India. And these are the things I could conclude from my industry study. And then when I was inquiring doing a questionnaire based survey with industry educators and also industry practitioners, so there I found some 45 replies from educators and some 75 reply from industry practitioners. And this is the graph below shows that how many years of experience they had. So here 10 years and more were more preferred. So I got 20 years and more experience educators were 10, and similarly in industry practitioner 20 years and plus experience 28 practitioners were there with the 20 plus years of experience. So, and the question what I asked was mainly focused about asking about the awareness level among young students or young designers, and how the inclusion of sustainable fashion concepts are there in the curriculum, and how much they feel that ability of young designers to implement these concepts, and what are could be the best methods of teaching, and how much they feel that industry is ready to take up the challenge of sustainability. Because very people say that industry is still not ready, and if we will implement sustainability, it is not good for economy. So these were the question which was there in my mind when I wanted to do this survey, and how much our society is ready, because all these educators and practitioners are also part of the society. So maybe they can help me here also to understand that how much my society is ready. Then sustainability, the main question of my survey was if or can the sustainability be integral part of fashion design education, or should we teach it very, very separately? So this is the kind of question that I had developed, and all these were closed-ended question where I had given them the so that the conclusion should be possible. So I'll just show you how I had the question like, do you agree that the undergraduate design program in fashion textile design have included appropriate level of sustainable concepts in their course curriculum? And then I had this like a scale answers that strongly agree, somewhat agree, neither agree, disagree, or this kind of question. So I found that left side is my educators reply, and right side I have is the practice industry people's reply, and both of them agree that somehow it is included in the education programs. And I asked one more question from the educators, that do you think that concepts of sustainability can be taught and implemented? I hope I'm fine, I'm not taking too much time. Can I continue like this, or I should need to be faster?
It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, yes, so then I asked also that to the education educators, that do you think that concepts of sustainability can be taught and implemented well through teaching and learning? So everybody, I strongly agree that we can teach and it is helpful. Next, I was asking that if what do they think that most successful methods of teaching, and here I got some mixed reply, but then also a group projects have been given more point, that group projects on global sustainable practice can give them better idea. And another popular reply was upcycling and recycling and deconstruction methods are more better to introduce sustainable concepts with student. Then I asked that what all should be the parameters, and if people were aware about all these parameters, it's not like that I've got very less reply on social or cultural thing. Everybody feels that social and culturals are all, no, environment and economy is very, very known to everybody, but then social and cultural connection also was important, and I got some yes replies for these all as well. Surprisingly, industry practitioners were giving less important to aesthetics and more important to environment and economy. So aesthetics there is a possibility that people are ready to give little less important to it. That's again a good trend, because just to make look things look more and more pleasing, people go uh, forget about bad effect of fashion. So then and again the next question was, to what extent do you think a graduate student is aware of sustainable production and consumer issue? So both practitioners and educators gave a mixed reply, and then 6 to 7 points. So educators feels that student can be given 7 out of 10, and in practitioner feels that the answer could be 5 to 10 about the um, awareness level in young designers or the final year students. So then with the educators I asked, do you think that undergraduate fashion textile design students are able to apply sustainable production and consumption measures and practices in their final? So again you can see educators are more positive and they are giving it a higher side compared to practitioners, and which is very, very possible also, because educators are going 2 3 years ahead than what industry practitioner can experience, right? So if we feel that educators are more positive, maybe in 2 3 years time we can see similar response with the practitioner too. So my next question was, do you think that current fashion and textile industry understand and is supportive of the idea of sustainable design measures? And again I've got more positive reply from educators than the practitioners. With practitioner I asked in 2 questions related to these, and the second the first was very similar to educators. The second I asked with little tweaking. I asked that the sustainable practices, especially in the area of fashion, might appear to be expensive in the initial stage, but they have positive long-term impact. So do you think Indian fashion and textile industry is ready to accept this as a challenge to take up sustainable practices? But still I got the maximum highest percentage were just 0.4. So out of 10 they gave 4.2 my this question. That means industry is not yet confident take up challenges of sustainability. And if you are, my next question, if you are associated with crafts people, weavers, printers, embroideries, have you ever observed if they are still practicing sustainable production methods? And educators also agree, because down the line, earlier think most of the practices were very, very sustainable, but then chemicals and uses of various chemical dyes and processing have affected these practices too. But still educators who are involved with these kind of design development says that various craft people are still practicing. So they have given 7 out of 10, and the total percentage is 27, which is quite good. So still we have crafts which are using more sustainable practices. Similarly, I asked industry practitioners that if you are associated with craft people, and have you observed if they are still practicing, and they also agree for them. They have not given 9 or 10, but 7 or 8 points have been given for crafts and artisans. So still there is some hope, and they are using sustainable measures in their day-to-day practice. And then I wanted to understand a little bit about society readiness. And for that, I asked that a family is a unit of society. How conscious are your family members of sustainable consumption of fashion textile material? And mixed response again from both practitioners and also from educators. I got very mixed response. They are aware, but I think we need to, the highest point was 7 and 6 here, with the 27% and 24%. So there is an awareness level, and more we can improve it further. So my final question, that if do you think that sustainability should be an integral part of all undergraduate fashion textile design program, or should it be taught as a specialized full-fledged program? So there it was an open-ended question, and they all 45 educators and the 75 industry practitioners replied differently. That's why I created this word cloud out of all those reply. So maximum people were saying yes. So, and these are the people who are continuously working with fashion, and everybody feels that sustainability concept should be integral part of all kind of fashion and textile program. So you can see the replies are yes, it should be integral part, full-fledged program, absolutely, or all the positive words are here. So that was a good outcome from this research. And with both the research, I could conclude that the review, sorry, not I was also studying curriculum also, but so curriculum and educators reply confirms that appropriate level of concepts of sustainability is included. Academia and industry is aware of the ill effect of current fashion and textile practices, and all are actively working for that. Academia has not just identified and accepted the issue, there is an action too, which is a great sign towards solving the problem. My research literature review suggests that craft and handloom textile are best for sustainable concept, and our survey with educators and market research also confirms the same. And my industry research also says that crafts and handloom textile is a big trend in India to implement sustainable fashion. Our industry professionals are not so supportive about industry readiness to take up. Yeah, there is a lack from industry professional side, and industry needs to be more ready to take up this challenge. The social awareness about conscious consumption of fashion and textile product is good, but more efforts are required further to educate the customer. The most important finding of this research is sustainability should be considered as an integral part of all undergraduate fashion education, and respondent feels that specialized courses too should be there for better results. So I think with this, I would like to end. But yes, any kind of suggestions and questions are most welcome.